Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to figure out how to make a bucket hat in crochet using granny squares. I've designed this granny square. I wasn't really thinking about wild violets when I designed it, but the colors ended up coming out, including a lot of the colors of the wild violets that I have outside. So I figured I'll put this in the video so you can see how pretty the variety of wild violets I have collected now. There's all these different colors they come in, and I've just accumulated this very pretty collection of them. So please enjoy my wild violet little bouquet here while we create a bucket hat. So I'm going to talk through how I do this granny square, then we're going to talk through how we do the top. I'm going to show you how to do a lining, or how I made my lining, because I want it to be a lined hat. And what else is there going to be? I think that's most of what's going to go into this tutorial, so if you're interested in crocheting a bucket hat that is lined, keep watching. For this project, you're going to need some yarn. I'm going to be using cotton yarn because I want kind of a stiff granny square so that the hat has a little bit more stiffness to it. I'm going to be doing a flower granny square. I'm going to do the centers in green, the petals in pink. I'm going to have a blue outline, and then this sort of variegated cool tone border on the outside of each granny square. So that's what I'm going to be using. These are about the weight of a Bernat Handicrafter cotton, so they're about a number 4. You're also going to need a crochet hook. I am going to be using a 4mm hook today. You'll also need some scissors, as well as a yarn needle to weave in your ends. We're also going to need some sewing needles because we are going to be doing a little bit of sewing with fabric. So I am going to also be using my thimble, and we will also need some thread for the sewing that we're going to be doing. Last but not least, if you're going to make a lining for your hat like I am, then you're going to need some cotton fabric. I'm using this old piece of cotton curtain that I'm sewing into a lining. We may also need pins and stitch markers, but I don't have those out right now, but we may need those as well. And last but not least, we need a measuring tape because we need to make sure we have the right number of squares for the size of our head. So gather your supplies and let's jump in. Okay, so first I'm going to measure my head because we're going to be making granny squares. For me, that is going to be 22 inches for the circumference. What we're gonna need to do is divide that by, well, I'm doing 6 granny squares, so you could divide it by 6 if you're doing the same thing as me. And I'm now going to show you how to make that granny square that we're gonna need 6 of in order to make this granny square bucket hat. So let's do that now. Starting with the green yarn, I'm going to do a slip knot. From here, I'll insert my hook into that loop and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. From here, I'm going to slip stitch into the first chain we did, the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll insert my hook, yarn over, and pull through both loops on the hook, just like that. Then I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2. This chain 2 represents a double crochet. Now, into the center of the chain 4 that created that slip knot donut there, I'm going to do a double crochet. So yarn over, insert into the center of that large hole, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 for a double crochet. Now you can see that chain 2 we started the round with, and that double crochet, that looks like 2 double crochets now. We need a total of 12. So if we count the chain 2, that's 1. Now we have 2. Now let's do our third one. 3, 4, 11, and 12. Yarn over, insert into the hole, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. for a total of 12 in that round. Now at the top of the chain 2 that we started the round right here, we're going to slip stitch that round together, but we're actually already done with the green yarn. So I'm going to take my scissors and cut my yarn here, and then we're going to tie in the pink yarn. All right, and now that that pink is tied in, I'm going to insert my hook into the top of the chain 2 that we started the round with, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through both loops with the pink yarn to join our round and to start round number 2. We're going to start round number 2 with a chain of 2. 1 and 2. Let me zoom you in for this next bit. All right, for round number 2, we're going to be doing 12 times the same stitch. We have 12 stitches in the round here, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to do double crochet 5 together, chain 1, and we're going to do that in each stitch all the way around. So let's get started with our first stitch. We're going to yarn over. Also, that chain 2 that we started the round with is going to count as 1, so our first stitch here is going to be a double crochet 4 together here. So yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Don't finish the stitch. Yarn over, insert into the same stitch again, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. See how there's 3 of them now? Yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So here is our chain 2 that we started the round with, and then after that there's 3 here for a total of 4, and now we're going to do our 5th. Really, we're just doing 4, but the chain 2 starts our round weird. Okay, so yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now you can see there are 5 loops on my hook, so I can yarn over and pull through those 5, and then I'm going to do a chain 1. And there's my double crochet 5 together. We only did 4 on that first stitch because of the chain 2, but we'll do it into the next stitch now and it will look the same. Let's do a double crochet 5 together. Yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And now you can see there are 4 double crochets here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, so we need 1 more still. There's our 5th one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we have 6 loops on the hook, but we only have 5 loops that are part of that double crochet 5 together. So then we'll yarn over and pull through all of the loops on the hook and chain 1. And there we go for a double crochet 5 together. Let's do it one more time, and then I'm going to finish the rest of the round. Yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and there's 5. Now we have our 5 double crochets, yarn over, pull through all of those, and then chain 1. And now you can see we've got these 3 pretty little petals that we're creating by doing these double crochet 5 togethers, and we're going to do that all the way around, so there's going to be 12 petals total. And I'm just going to zoom through the rest of these 12 petals because it's much of the same, and when I get to the end of the round I will meet you there to show you what we are going to do next. Alright, I made it all the way around. I have 1 more repeat to do to fill this circle, so yarn over, insert into that last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now there are 4 on my hook, yarn over, insert for the 5th one, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through 2 of them. Now there are 5 double crochets on my hook, yarn over, pull through all of the stitches on the hook and chain 1. And there is round number 2 with our pink petals. We're going to be joining the round now at the top of the chain 2 that we started the round with right here. But first I'm going to change into the blue yarn. So with the blue yarn, I'm going to yarn over, pull through both loops to join for round number 3. Round number 3 is going to start with a chain of 2. 1 and 2. And now this is the first time we're going to be doing a turn after a round. So we did our chain 2 and then we're going to flip the work over. So we're going to be working the other way on this circle. Here is where we're going to be turning this into a square. So now we need to start thinking in groups of 3 double crochets separated by chain 1s. In this first space, in between each of these petals is where we're going to be working our double crochet stitches. And we're going to be working 3 double crochet stitches here. So the chain 2 counts as a double crochet. And now in the space here between these 2 petals, I'm going to add 2 more double crochets. So there's 1 double crochet and there's number 2. I'm ignoring the tails right now. I'm going to weave all that in later. So there is my first little shell on the edge of my first petal. Then I'm going to chain 1, and then in the next space between the 2 petals, I'm going to do 3 more double crochets. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. Then I'll do a chain of 1. Now you can see we're starting to get that granny square energy happening. So we have the 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1. And now in this next petal, we're going to do it like it's a corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in that same spot. So there's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3, followed by a chain of 2, 1 and 2, and now in that exact same space, 3 more double crochets. There's 1, here's number 2, and there is number 3. And now if you look, you can see it created a corner. Out of what was a circle, we're now turning that into a square. So these 2 are a flat side. This is part of that flat side, and then the chain 2 creates a corner. So after that second set of 3 double crochets, we're going to do a chain 1. Now we're going to be working into the next space between the next petals. In that space, we're going to do 3 double crochets. There's 1, there's 2, and there's number 3. See how we're moving around a corner now? So then I'll do a chain of 1. In the next space, 3 double crochets. There's 1, there's 2, and there's number 3, and then a chain of 1. And now we're going to be working a corner on the next stitch. So you can see we have a corner, then there are 2 shells. So a corner, 2 shells. And now here's going to be a corner. So in this next space, we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1 and 2, and then 3 more double crochets. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. After that, I'm going to do a chain of 1. Now we can sort of pull that into shape. And now you can see we've made our way around 2 sides of our new square using that circle flower. Now in the next 2 spaces, I'm going to do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and that'll bring us to our next corner. I'm going to zoom through these ones and I'll meet you at the next corner. All right, I've made it to the 3rd corner. So we have our corner here, then there's 2 more shells, and now we're at another corner. So in this corner, again, I'm going to put 3 double crochets, and then a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3, then a chain 2, 1 and 2, then 3 more double crochets. There's 1 and 2 and 3, and then after that 3rd double crochet we'll do a chain 1, and then in the 2 next spaces here we're going to put 3 double crochets in there, followed by a chain 1. So there's 1, 2, and 3, chain 1 into the next one, 1, 2, and 3. And now our next one is going to be our last corner. You can see we've created 3 corners now, 1, 2, and 3. And now this last stitch here, we'll do a chain 1 after our 3 double crochets, and in this last space we'll do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in the same spot. And then I will do a chain 1, and now we're going to be joining the round at the top of the chain 2 we started the round with. But we're going to be starting the next round with our variegated yarn, so I'm going to cut my yarn here and switch yarn colors. Alright, now that my next color is joined, I will yarn over with my new color and slip stitch the round together. Now for the next round, I'm going to start with a chain of 1 and turn the work. Again, I'm ignoring these tails. I will weave them in later. Now I'm going to be working this granny square just as a straight across single crochet row. In the corner stitch, I'm going to do single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Otherwise, I'm going to do a single crochet in each of the double crochets and a single crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces. So our first stitch here is a chain 1 space. I'm going to, right in that large chain 1 space, put a single crochet. And then into the double crochets, I'll have 3, 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm at a corner. In the corner, I'll do single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and that'll get me around the corner without adding too many gaps. And now I'm at a bunch of double crochets again. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then a chain 1 space. I'll put a single crochet into that whole space, and then 3 more double crochets. And I'm going to repeat this all the way around, just doing a single crochet, which I don't know if I showed how. Insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. I'm going to single crochet all the way around for this round. I'll meet you at the end to show you how I'm going to join the round and what we're going to do next. Alright, I made it to the end of my round. I'm going to just put my last stitch in here, my last single crochet, and then at the top of the chain 1 that we started the round with, I will join the round with a slip stitch, and now I can pull the yarn through and weave in all of these ends. So I'm going to take a second, weave in these ends, and I'm also going to press the square so it's nice and flat like my other ones. And then we will do a final measurement. All right, after weaving in the ends and pressing it flat, my squares are just about 4 inches across. They're a little under 4. I want to say they're 3.5, really. Like if I stretch it out, they're 4. Let's say 3.5 though. So I'm going to need 6 of them to make my hat. So if you need to make more, you can either go around another time to make your square bigger or leave out the single crochet row to make your square smaller. But for me, I'm going to need 6 squares. So after I make my 6, I'm going to weave in all those ends. Like I said, I've already pressed these. Now let's get into making the top portion of the hat so that we can start putting this thing together. Now, my plan for this top portion is to start with a circle, have a little bit of a granny square detail, and then continue out with a circle. I have a granny square, or not a granny square, I have a bucket hat that I love. I love the shape of, but I hate the color. So I took apart the stitches so that I could actually see the size of the pieces. And the hat top for my favorite bucket hat shape is this size circle. So that is what I'm going to be working against. This is going to be a 6.5 inch diameter circle is what I'm doing for mine. So let's jump in. All right, working with the blue yarn, I am going to do a slip knot. From here, I am going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'll slip stitch in the first chain that we made, or the 4th chain from the hook. I will slip stitch to join a very small little round. Then I'm going to chain 2. 1 and 2. That chain 2 is going to represent a double crochet. Now into the center of that chain 4 round that we've got, I'm going to do another double crochet. So yarn over, insert into the center of the hole, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have our chain 2, which looks like a double crochet, as well as our first double crochet. So 1, 2. We need a total of 9. So 1, 2, 3, and 9. And there we go. Now I've got 9 double crochets at the top of the chain 2 that we started the round with. I'm going to yarn over and slip stitch the round together at that point, and I'm going to start the second round with a chain of 2. Alright, now let's jump straight into round number 2. For round number 2, we're going to be putting 2 double crochets in each stitch around. The chain 2 we started the round with does count as a double crochet, but it's going to count as one of our last 2 double crochets. So we'll start in the space here between the double crochet stitches, and in that first space I'm going to put 2 double crochets. There's 1, and there's number 2. And now I'm going to put 2 double crochets in each stitch around. At the end of the round, you should have 18 stitches in your round. There should be 17 double crochet stitches, and then the 18th stitch is your chain 2 that we started the round with. So I'm going to just zoom around with these double crochets, and I'll meet you at the end of the round to show you what we're going to do next. Alright, here I am at the end of round number 2. I have 17 double crochets and then the chain 2 at the beginning of the round. I'm going to join my round here with a slip stitch, yarn over, pull through both loops, and now I've got this nice little round. Let's jump into round number 3. I'm gonna start round number 3 with a chain of 2, and now in the first stitch right underneath the chain of 2 I'm going to put 2 double crochets. So yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2 for 1, and then there's number 2. Now in the next stitch I'm just going to do 1 double crochet. In the following stitch, 2 double crochets. There's 1, and there's 2. And then in the next stitch, 1 double crochet. And in the next stitch, 2 double crochets. There's 1 and there's 2. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, you should have 27 stitches in the round. You'll have 26 double crochets and then the chain 2 that you started the round with. I'll meet you at the end of round number 3. Alright, here I am at the end of the third round, and I just want to show you how the pattern lines up. So we have 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and then the chain 1 we start the round with. But at the other end, we have 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. So you see on either end of the chain 1, there are 2 double crochets coming out of 1 stitch, and that chain 1 is our 1 double crochet. So that's going to be where we join our round for round number 3. And I'm just going to join the round again with a slip stitch, and I'm going to start round number 4 rather, with a chain of 2. 1 and 2. Now again, I'm going to start with putting 2 double crochets in the first stitch of the round. There's my first one, and there's number 2. Then in the next 2 stitches, this one and this one, I'm going to put 1 double crochet in each. There's 1 double crochet, and there's the next one, 1 double crochet. And in the following stitch, 2 double crochets. There's 1, and there's 2. And then in the next 2 stitches, 1 double crochet in each. There's 1, and there's 2. And now in the next one, 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around for round number 4. At the end of round number 4, you should have 36 stitches in the round. That'll be 35 double crochets and then the chain 1 that you started the round with. I'll see you at the end of round number 4. Alright, here I am at the end of round number 4. At the beginning side of the round, it goes 2 double crochets coming out of 1 spot and then the chain 2. So we have 2 double crochets coming out of 1 spot, and then we'll have 1 more double crochet in the next stitch, and then the next where we're joining joining is at the chain 2 we started the round with, and it keeps the pattern the same. So it goes 2 double crochets and then 2 coming out of 1 stitch, 2 double crochets, 2 coming out of 1 stitch. It just keeps that pattern consistent. And now for round number 5, we're going to start with a chain of 2 again. And now we're going to be switching into a granny square sort of repeat for this round. And how we're going to do that is I'm going to start by turning my round at this point because I want to use this large space here. In this space under the chain 2, I'm going to put 2 double crochets. There's 1 and there's 2. And then I'm going to do a chain 1. Then I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and in the following stitch I'm going to put 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3. And then a chain of 1. Then I'll skip the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and in the following stitch 3 double crochets. There's 1, there's 2, and there's number 3. I'm going to repeat this all the way around. I'll see you at the end of round number 5. Alright, I've made it to the end of that granny square round, and now I want to switch into the variegated yarn. So I've just done my last set of 3 double crochets. I'll do a chain 1, and then I've already got my 3 double crochets to start the next round here. So I'm going to insert my crochet hook, and I'm going to be slip stitching to join, but I'm going to change yarn colors here so that I am slip stitching with the new variegated yarn. Alright, now moving on to the next round, I'm going to yarn over and slip stitch the round together with the new color, start with a chain of 2, and then turn the work. Now, what I'm going to do for this next round, working into the large spaces, in each of the large spaces, I'm going to put 2 double crochets. Other than that, I'm going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So here I am at that first large space. I'll put 1 and 2 double crochets in that space. Now in these 3 double crochets, I'll just put 1 stitch in each. 1, 2, and 3. And that brings us back to another one of those large chain 1 spaces. In there, I'm going to put 2 double crochets. There's 1 and there's 2. And then 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets. And I'm going to repeat this all the way around. I will see you at the end of round number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will see you at the end of round number 5. All right, here I am at the end of round number 5. I've finished my round with 2 double crochets in one spot, then I've got 1 double crochet in the next, and now there's going to be 1 more double crochet here. You can see at the beginning of the round, the chain 2 we started the round with is a double crochet, and there's supposed to be 3 in between each set of 2. So there goes 2 double crochets coming out of one spot, 3 double crochets, 2 double crochets coming out of one spot. Now there should be 3 double crochets. So here's 1, and we're just going to add a 3rd one to keep the pattern consistent. And now I'm going to join that round number 5, with a slip stitch at the top of the chain 2, and then round number 6 I'm going to start with a chain 2 to begin. Now let's jump into round number 6. I'm going to start by putting a double crochet in the bottom of the chain 2. The next stitch here, I've got 2 double crochets coming out of one space. In this spot, I'm going to put 2 double crochets. So there's 1 and there's 2. In all of these individual double crochets, I'm just going to put 1 stitch in each. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 right here. And now in this next stitch, it's 2 double crochets coming out of 1 stitch. So I'm going to put 2 double crochets in that stitch. There's 1 and there's 2. And then in the next stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, in the next 4 stitches, I'll do 1 double crochet in each. And then in the stitch after that, I will do 2 double crochets. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. Every time you come up to a stitch that has 2 double crochets coming out of it, in that space, you're going to put 2 double crochets. Otherwise, we're just going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. So I'll do those repeats and I will do those increases, and I will meet you at the end of round number 6 to show you what we're going to do next. Alright, here I am coming up to the end of that round. I just did my last 2 double crochets coming out of 1 stitch. Now I'm doing double crochet into the next 3, or into the next 4 rather. So there's 1, 2, and then the first 2 stitches of the round will be the 3 and 4, and I will slip stitch the round to join. Now this next round is going to be the last round for the top of the hat. We're going to start with a chain 1. Then I'm going to single crochet into each stitch, but I'm not going to put it in the top of the stitch like we normally do. I'm going to put it under the entire stitch, so in the space between the large bars of the stitch. So I'm going to insert the hook in between the stitches, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, then into the next large space between stitches, single crochet. In the next one, single crochet. And I'm going to do that all the way around. No increases on this round. I'm just going to single crochet in that large space between the double crochets all the way around. I'll see you at the end of this round to show you what we're going to do next. Alright, here I am at the end of that last round. I'm going to join the round with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to pull the yarn through, cut my yarn tail here, and weave in all of these ends. Alright, and with all of those ends woven in, the final measurement for this circle is just about 6 inches, 6¼ inches across. The blue section is about 4 inches, and then the variegated sections 1¼ inches. So that is what I've done, and now we're going to be figuring out how to turn this circle and these patches into some very cute bucket hat. So let's get the lining first. For the lining, I used the pattern pieces that I got from taking apart one of my favorite fitted bucket hats, and I traced them onto some fabric that I had. So I traced on 2 pieces for the sides. This area is going to be what's underneath the granny squares. And then I traced the circle, which is going to be underneath the top portion of the hat. And then I took those pieces and I actually hand sewed them together. First, I sewed the side seams of the side of the hat together. I also stitched down the actual seam so that it's really nice and flat. And then after doing that, I created a gathering stitch along the one end of that long tube that I had created. And I used that gathering stitch to perfectly fit in the other pattern piece that was cut out of the circle for the top of the hat, and then I stitched that down with a running back stitch. Now this is going to be inside, so all of these seams are going to be hidden by the actual crochet, and then the inside of the hat will be made up of this kind of beautifully finished lining. Doesn't really match, but it matches the vibe. I feel like the colors feel right together. They're not the same, but there is some kind of matchiness going on. So all of these seams took me, I don't even want to say how many hours to sew down. So I'm not even pulling out the gathering stitch because I used it as my guide and none of it shows up on the outside. So since it's all going to be on the inside, I'm just going to leave it as is. I don't think it's going to bother our final pieces when they're all put together, and it might actually even add a little extra structure, a little stiffness, which is good in a bucket hat. So now that we've got this lining put together and all of these crocheted pieces, we're going to start the assembly process. So I think what we're going to do first is start to assemble the granny square portion, then we'll sew on the top, then we'll sew the lining in. I think that's the order of operations here. So let's get into connecting these granny squares. All right, here we are at day 2. At this point, we are going to be putting together the final project and doing the brim. So first, we're going to take the squares, the granny squares, and we're going to stitch them together into one long continuous strip, just back to back in one long strip. So let me thread up my yarn needle, or should we crochet it? You know what, maybe we should crochet them together. Do I want the seams visible or invisible? Okay, I've decided we're going to crochet them together. So with the crochet hook, I'm going to find the corner, and I'm going to insert the hook into the corner of one piece, and then into the corner of a second one of the granny squares. Then I'm going to take the variegated yarn, and I'm going to yarn over my hook. And then pull the loop through. Then with the tail and the working yarn, I'm gonna do a chain 1, then I'll drop the tail, and into that same stitch that I just came out of, I'm going to do a single crochet, just with the working yarn. And then I'm going to do a single crochet into the next stitch through both layers. I'm gonna ignore the tail at this point because we're gonna weave that in later. I'm just going to single crochet, and then the next stitch on both layers. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And I'm going to single crochet across, and since these squares are identical, I have the same number of stitches. So I'm just going to single crochet across one side, and when I get to the end of this row of single crochets, I'll meet you back here to show you what we're gonna do next. All right, here I am at the end of that row. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm gonna pull that chain down really tight, and then I'm gonna turn this work here. Now, down this row that I just single crocheted together, there's 2 pieces here. I'm gonna slip stitch down the row, and that's just going to thicken that seam. So I'm just gonna insert the hook into each stitch, yarn over, pull the loop through, pull the loop through. Insert, yarn over, pull the loop through, pull the loop through. And I'm gonna just do that all the way across this row. At the end of the row, I'll meet you back here to show you what's next. All right, here I am at the end of that row of slip stitches. Put my last one in, then I'm gonna cut my yarn here, and I will just yarn over one additional time and pull through, and then that's gonna be an end that we weave in. But now we've got our first 2 pieces together, and by doing that slip stitch across, I feel like it creates a nice little seam. We can either use it this way and have it be kind of invisible, or we can do it this way and have it be an intentional seam. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm gonna pick up the next one, and I'm going to lay it so that we are connecting our yarn in the same way. So I'm gonna be starting on this side, and I'm gonna go up with my single crochets, and then I'm gonna come back down with my slip stitches. And I'm going to just do that with all of these pieces. It's gonna take me a while, but I'm just gonna create one long rectangle by doing the same stitches, single crochets one way and slip stitches back down the other way until I have one long final rectangle, and I will meet you back here once I've got them all stitched together to show you what we are going to do next on this bucket hat. All right, I've stitched these together. All of the seams are on the same side. It looks awesome. This is going to get stitched together as a round, and I'm trying to decide if I should stitch it now or after stitching the top. Maybe we do the last seam first. So I will, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna press these ones open, weave in these ends, and then stitch the last one closed, and I will meet you back here after that to show you what we're gonna do next. Oh my goodness, it looks so cute. Okay, it's been pressed so that all of the seams face the same way, and now I'm going to put the last seam together, and that brings us to where we are going to be adding the top portion of our bucket hat. Look, it's getting somewhere. We're getting there. All right, I'm just finishing up this last couple of slip stitches, which is bringing me back to where I attached the yarn for my last seam. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm not disconnecting my yarn on this last seam. I'm going to start working right from this last slip stitch across, and I'm gonna go around the entire thing so that I can count how many stitches I have to determine how I'm going to separate it for the top. So I'm gonna start by doing a chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet right at the base of that chain 1. And then I'm going to count. I'm gonna put 1 stitch in each stitch all the way around. When I get up to these joins, I'm just gonna skip the join. I'll put 1 stitch, 1 single crochet in the stitch before the join and 1 in the after, and we're going to count out the stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is how I figured out my math. All right, there's 72 stitches in this circle. There's 102 stitches in this round. So I need to shrink this 102 down by 30 stitches. So what I think I have to do is every 3rd stitch, I put 2 together, I think. Is that right? Single crochet, single crochet, single crochet 2 together. I think that's what I'm doing. I think that's what I'm doing. Okay, if my math made any sense, which it might be wrong, but I think that it sounds right to me. So I'm gonna do that. I'm going to do a join with a slip stitch, chain 1, single crochet in the 1st stitch, single crochet in the 2nd stitch, and then single crochet 2 together. A single crochet 2 together, I'll zoom you in for the next one. So single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet 2 together, and let me zoom you in. So for a single crochet 2 together, it'll be insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, loop on the hook, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now there's 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And that's single crochet 2 together. Then I'll single crochet 1, single crochet 2, in the next stitch, single crochet 2 together. And then 1, 2, and then 2 together. And I'm gonna do that all the way around. And at the end of this round, I'm hoping we're gonna be closer to the right size to put the hat together. All right, we are coming up to the last stretch where we are gonna determine if my count was correct and if my math was good or if my math was just me making stuff up. We're gonna see. Okay, so there's my last single crochet 2 together, and there's my first single crochet 2. Okay, so I'm off by 1. Is that what I'm learning? Yeah, I'm off by 1 stitch. There's 1 more single crochet here. So what should have happened was we should have ended on a single crochet 2 together. That would have been the most sense. So what I'm gonna do to fix it is I'm going to single crochet 3 together for my last stitch. I think that's the best option, just to keep it straight. And then I can yarn over and slip stitch this round together. And now I need to count the round, but am I going to do another row here? Another round of single crochets. I think I want to do a round of slip stitches though, before attaching it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that last loop and then I'm going to flip the work inside out so that those seams, I think I want the seams on the inside. I think I want it like this. So now I'm going to work the opposite direction for my round. So I'm going to pick up my work, and instead of doing my chain 1 and then continuing around, we're gonna turn this way. And I'm gonna do a round of slip stitches here. I think we should have the correct number of stitches. I'm really trusting myself a lot. Seems risky, but I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. I'm gonna count my slip stitches out, starting right here. There's number 1, 2, and I will see you when I get back to the end of the round. Hopefully we have 72 stitches, but we'll see. I'll let you know. Okay, I just hit 72 stitches, so my math was off, but it was pretty close. 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches remain. So 72, 73, 74, 75, 76. So what I can do, I can just single crochet 2 together twice on when I'm attaching it. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm going to slip stitch those last 4 stitches, which brings us to 76 slip stitches in this round. I need to get us down to 72 stitches. So I'm going to pull my last stitch through here like this, drop my hook, and now I'm going to line up the circle that is the top. This is 72 stitches around. I'm gonna line it up with this. I think I'm gonna pull out some stitch markers at this point and try and sort of find a middle ground. So I'll find the middle stitch, like the 4 corners, and I'll attach the 4 corners just to make it easier to see. So 1 second. Okay, so I've got my pieces connected. I'm going to turn my work inside out now, like that. And then I'm going to pin the rest of the points because we're going to be doing the crochet on the inside, so we won't have seams on the outside. So let me just connect these and then we will get to stitching. So at this point, I have turned my work so that I am working with it inside out. I'm holding the circle in front and the granny square tube in behind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my hook into the first stitch, the one with the stitch marker, on the circle. And then I will grab the loop, the working loop, and I'm gonna pull that together to join our 2 pieces. Then I'm gonna chain 1, and into that same spot that the chain 1 came out of, I'm gonna insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops for a single crochet. And I'm gonna single crochet this seam together all the way to our next stitch marker. We're gonna be doing something special at that stitch marker, but I'll explain when I get there. All right, I've made it to the stitch marker. Now here's where things are gonna get a little weird. The circle has 72 stitches. The tube has 76 stitches. I need to do 2 decreases. I need to do single crochet 2 together 2 times. So I'm picking right at this stitch marker and then at the 3rd stitch marker as the 2 points that I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert into the stitch before the stitch marker first, do my single crochet. Now I'm going to take out my stitch marker. I'm going to insert into the circle. Then I'm going to insert into the first stitch. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop just through the first layer. Then I'm going to insert into the next stitch and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through all of those to join with a single crochet 2 together, but just on the back piece. It's confusing, but it's because there was a bad count, so don't worry about it. From here, I'm going to single crochet 1 time in each stitch until I get to the next stitch marker. All right, I'm approaching the next stitch marker now, and at this stitch marker, I don't have to do anything. This is the back of the work. There is no decrease here, so we're going to continue moving right along to the next stitch marker, and when we get to the next stitch marker, we're gonna do the same decrease. So I'm just gonna zoom through to that decrease and I'll meet you back to show you what I do. All right, I'm approaching that next stitch marker now. I have a couple stitches here to finish up with my single crochets. I am doing them a little tight, I'm noticing. I don't know if that's necessary, but I'm noticing that my stitches are a little tight. Okay, now I'm at that middle stitch. I'm gonna take out my stitch marker. I'm gonna insert into the next stitch of the circle. I'm gonna insert into the first stitch of the back piece, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops underneath that first stitch as well, creating our single crochet, yarn over, pull through both. Haha, that did it. That made a single crochet 2 together on the back and a single crochet on the front. So let me do it one more time because now I understand. Insert into the first stitch, get that one out of the way. Then insert into the first stitch on the back piece, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert into the next stitch on the back piece, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops, and then also the front piece. And then you'll have 2 loops on the hook, and you can yarn over and pull through those 2 loops to finish a single crochet. And now I'm just going to single crochet together the rest of the seam until I'm back down to where I started. And now there will be the same number of stitches because I just did 2 decreases, and we should end up perfectly symmetrical here. So I'll just zoom through the rest of this seam and I'll meet you when I finish it. All right, I'm just doing my last couple of stitches here to join my round. Ta-da! And it's together, and now I'm gonna join the round of single crochets here with a slip stitch, and then I think I still want to do a round of slip stitches just to keep the seams all consistent. Even though this is going on the inside, I think it'll add a little bit more structure and fill it out a little bit more, which is what I want. So I am going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to slip stitch 1 time in each stitch around, and when I get back to the end, I'll cut my yarn and weave in the end, and then I'll meet you back here where we're gonna sew in the lining and build out a brim. Okay, this part is so exciting. You can turn it right side out now. And look, it looks like a little hat. It does not look like a bucket hat yet, but don't worry, it's gonna hopefully. Fingers crossed anyway. That's the plan, is that it's gonna look like a bucket hat. Right now it just looks like a hat, but we are going to add a brim. But before we add the brim, I want to sew in this lining, and this lining is going to go right inside of our granny squares, and I'm going to fold over the hem of fold over the edge of the sewn lining, and I'm gonna stitch it down. I just have to figure out where. But first I'm going to iron this so that the edge of it is not loose. I'm gonna fold it down and iron it. All right, so the lining is ironed and I have an idea. I'm going to put the hat back to being inside out, and then I'm going to put the lining on top of it so that I can make sure it's lined up perfectly, and I'll just put it inside and line it all up. Maybe I'll get some pins out so that it's perfect all the way around. And then I'm going to get some yarn and we're gonna stitch in this lining, or some thread rather, and then we'll stitch in this lining. Okay, so now I'm going to stitch down. I'm gonna try and only go through a couple of threads on the crocheted side, and I'm going to stitch down the edge of the sewn side to try and create a nice smooth line. I'm a little worried that some of it's a little ripply here, so I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do just yet there, but I'm gonna start here at this seam. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of the fabric and a little bit of the crochet, then I'll tie a knot. I think I'm going to blanket stitch this down. I think that'll be the prettiest. So to do that, I'm going to take my needle and I'm gonna hold, let me zoom you in actually. I'm gonna hold my project vertically like this. I'm gonna pick up a stitch from the crochet, then I'll pick up a little bit of the fabric. I'll come all the way through. There's a loop left behind here, and I'm gonna pass the needle down through that loop. And when I pull that down and I pull it nice and snug, we're left with a nice little blanket stitch. And then I'll just do that in the next spot. Pull it down. There we go. And now you can see that, how that stitch looks. I'm just gonna do that all the way around. It's gonna take forever, but it's so gonna be worth it to have a cute little lined hat. There may be some bunching, not really worried about it. I'm very excited. So I'll see you once I finish stitching down these blanket stitches. All right, I'm just about finished sewing in this lining. It looks so cute. And now it's gonna be time to put on a brim. And I don't know exactly what we're gonna do. We're obviously gonna need to do increases. I think we'll just work in the round on the other side of the granny squares and then start working increases in every, I don't know, 10 stitches or so. Let me just finish up this lining. A couple more stitches here and then we will be all attached. I did blanket stitches all the way around and I tried to keep it as straight as possible. There we go. That looks good. All right, and now that the lining is sewn in, we can turn the hat out. Oh my gosh, look how cute it is. And then the inside is all lined, which is so cute. I love a lined anything. If it's got lining, I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side. I'm going to start by single crocheting all the way around. I'm gonna count my stitches. Hopefully there's 102 stitches, but we'll see. I'm gonna do that in, should I do it in the, yeah, I'll do it in the variegated yarn. So I'm just gonna connect my yarn anywhere, it doesn't really matter. And then I will yarn over, pull up a loop, chain one, drop the tail, and then single crochet into that same stitch. And then I'm going to single crochet all the way around. When I get to parts where two of them join, I will take the join stitch by doing the stitch beforehand and just the stitch after the join. Otherwise, I'm going to just single crochet all the way around. So I'm going to zoom through this part because it's just single crochets. I'll count mine out and I will come back here to figure out what we're gonna do next for the bucket hat. All right, so I've finished my round of single crochets and it looks so cute. I am kind of totally obsessed with it. It's gonna be such a cute hat. Okay, now we have to start doing some increases to create the brim of the hat. All right, so my round ended up having 108 stitches instead of 102, but I'm just gonna go ahead and deal with it. And the way I'm dealing with it is I am going to finish my round of single crochets, join the round with a slip stitch, start with a chain one. 108 divided by 27 is 4. So I just try to find a number that's divisible in order to break up whatever the number is. So I'm going to do an increase every 4 stitches. What that looks like is for the first stitch, I'm going to do 2 single crochets in that stitch. There's 1 and there's 2. And that was our first stitch. Now I'm gonna do 3 single crochets, 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. And then in the next stitch, we'll put 2 single crochets. There's 1 and there's 2. And then in the next 3 stitches, 1 single crochet in each, 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around for this round of the brim, and hopefully at the end of this round we should start to see how that increase affects the growth of the hat, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. All right, I am just about done this round, and I think I did perfect math because I just did my last 2 single crochets. Now there should be 3 more single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then the next stitch, ta-da, is 2 single crochets coming out of the same stitch. Amazing, what a good feeling. Okay, so now I'm gonna join with a slip stitch, and look, it's already starting to give that bucket hat shape now. We are working out this sort of, oh, it's kind of looking like a little bit of a flower petal. Is that gonna be crazy? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow the same increase. So I'm going to chain 1 to start, then I will single crochet in the base of the chain 1. Now the next stitch here has 2 single crochets coming out of 1 stitch. In that space, I'm gonna put 2 single crochets. There's 1, and there's 2. Now I'm gonna single crochet into the next stitches up until my next 2 coming out of 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the next stitch, I'm gonna put 2 single crochets in. There's 1, and there's 2. And then I'll do the next 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the next stitch, you can see there's 2 single crochets coming out of 1 stitch. In there, I will put 2 single crochets. And I'm gonna repeat that all the way around for this round. I'm gonna zoom through the rest of it because it's the same thing over and over again, and I'll see you at the end of the round. All right, it's the next day now, and I'm moving into the next round. So our first round, we did 1 round of single crochets. Then we did a round where we did 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 2 in 1 stitch, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. Now for this next round, we're just gonna do a round of single crochets. So I did a chain 1 to start it, and now I'm just gonna put 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. I'm gonna zoom through this part because it's just a round of single crochets, and I will meet you at the end of the round to show you what we're gonna do next. Okay, so I just finished this round, or I'm almost finished, and I'm noticing that the edges kind of have this flower petal thing happening, and I'm kind of into it. So I think I'm going to change my method with my increases to kind of enhance these. So I'm going to put 1 increase at every point between these sort of petals to continue sort of shaping that out. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to crochet until I'm in line with the seam, just regular single crochets. And then when I'm at the stitch in line with the seam, so this one right here, I'll put 2 single crochets in. Then I'll single crochet across 1 time in each stitch for these ones. And then right here, when I line up with this one, so this stitch right here, I'll put 2 single crochets in that one. Same thing all the way to the next seam and so on. So that's what I'm going to do for this next round. And I think that's going to work. I think that's going to give us enough increases, and I think it's also going to do something cool with the sort of petal shape. So here I am at the end of the round. I'm just going to join the round with a slip stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1. Then I'll single crochet at the base of that chain 1. And then I'm going to single crochet until I'm in line with this seam. So up until this stitch right here. Let me zoom you in. So up until I hit this stitch. So right here in this 5th stitch, I'm gonna put 2 single crochets. This is a point where you could use stitch markers if you want to not have to pay as close attention while you're crocheting. So you can find the seam, line it up to the single crochet, and mark that stitch. That way I know where I'm going to put my next 2 single crochets in one spot. And then I'll move my way along, follow up the seam, and put a stitch marker. And I'm just going to do increases only at those stitch marked points. So I've just done my 2 single crochets in 1, and I'm going to zoom around this round every time I hit one of those stitch markers, or if I hit a seam, I'm going to do 2 single crochets coming out of that spot. And I will meet you at the end of the round to show you what we're gonna do next. Okay, I think that was a good choice, doing that where we did the increases only at the seams. So round 1 is single crochets, round 2 is 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet in each of the next 3. That was round 2. Round 3 was single crochet 1 time in each stitch around. Round 4 was single crochet 1 time in each stitch around, except at the stitch parallel with the seam where we put 2 single crochets. And now for round number 5, we are going to do another round of single crochets, just 1 single crochet in each stitch around for round number 5. So I'll start with a chain 1, then I'll single crochet into the base of the chain 1 and single crochet around. This is going to ensure that we don't have the round growing too quickly and becoming more of like a sun hat. We're still aiming for that bucket hat shape. So I'm going to zoom through this round, just 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and I'll meet you back here to show you what we're going to do for round number 6. Okay, here's how it looks right now. I'm obsessed. It's not finished. We still need to add a little bit more on that brim, but look how cute it is. Stop it. It's like a little bit ripply because of the a sort of petal shape, but I'm kind of here for it. I think we should do a blue edge to the brim. So I think that's what we're gonna do next. Let's keep going. All right, so here I am at the end of that round. I'm going to switch colors now into the blue, do my last single crochet here, and then I'm gonna cut my yarn, tie in the blue, and then finish the last single crochet, or finish the slip stitch rather, with the blue. And I'm just gonna tie a knot and weave that end in later. There we go. And then I will insert into the stitch, yarn over with the blue, pull through both loops, and chain one to start the next round. Now on this next round, once again, I am going to do one round of single crochets. So no increases on this next round. One round of single crochets, and that's just so that the color transition looks nice. After this round of single crochets, we'll do another round with increases, where we'll be doing the increases at each of those seams. So I'm going to stitch marker them after. But first, let me just zoom through this round of single crochets with the blue yarn, and I'll see you at the end of the round. All right, here I am at the end of that first round of blue. And now what I'm gonna do for the next round, first I'll join my round with a slip stitch at the top of the chain one we started with. Then I'll chain one, and then I will single crochet into the base of the chain one for my first stitch. Now I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna find the spot where we had our last two single crochets in one spot, and then the stitches above that. So here's the 2 and 1. There's one, there's one. So right here, I'm gonna stitch mark that one, and that stitch is gonna have 2 single crochets in it. So I'm lining up to that seam again. I'm not counting them out because I doubt that I did a perfect count, but if I line them up with the seam, see there's the one where 2 stitches come out of 1 stitch, then above that is 1, then above that is 1. And that's where we're gonna put 2 single crochets. And I'm gonna do that all the way around on this round, where I put 1 single crochet in each stitch, except when I get up to these stitch markers, I'll put 2 single crochets in. There's the 2, 1, 1. And there we go. So I'll show you what I'm doing at the first stitch marker because it's just nearby. So 1 single crochet in each single crochet stitch, but whenever you hit a seam or a stitch marker in my case, sorry, the birds are currently kept in their cage because we have a repairman in the house, so they're a little bit more chatty right now. When I get to a stitch marker, I'll put 2 in. There's 1 and there's 2. Otherwise, single crochet to the next stitch marker. And I'll see you at the end of the round. Look how cute it's looking. All right, I just am finishing that round with the increases. Sorry again about the birds. Now I'm going to do a round of single crochets in the blue. So I'll join the round with a slip stitch, chain 1, single crochet in the base of the chain 1, and then single crochet around. I'll see you at the end of this next round. All right, here I am at the end of that round of single crochets, and I tried it on and I still need a little bit more length. I thought maybe I'd be done by now. I'm going to join the round with a slip stitch, chain 1, single crochet into the base of the chain 1, and then single crochet around. I did 1 increase round, and now I'm doing 2 rounds with no increases, just single crochet around. I'll meet you at the end of this round to show you what we're gonna do next, because we still need another increase round after this. See you then. All right, so I have a small ball of yarn left. I'm a little nervous that I'm going to run out if I do 2 more rounds, but I'm gonna try anyway. For those 2 rounds, first let me finish this single crochet round here, then I'll join my round with a slip stitch, start with a chain 1, single crochet at the base of the chain 1, and now on this round, I'm going to follow up the last time I did an increase. I'll go up 1 stitch, and then I'll stitch marker it. Let me zoom you in to show you. So here's the seam. The last time I put 2 stitches in 1 stitch is right here, above that one, above that one. So right here is the one I'm gonna mark with my stitch marker. And that's the stitch that's gonna get 2 single crochets in it. Over to the next seam, here's the stitch with 2, up, up, this stitch. Again, I'm not counting because I doubt my numbers are perfect. Here's the stitch that has 2 single crochets coming out of it. Here's one above it, here's one above that. And I'm just gonna do that all the way around at each one of the seams. And then this next round, I'm going to single crochet all the way around, but whenever I hit a stitch marker, I'm gonna put 2 single crochets in the stitch marker spot all the way around. After that, I'm gonna do 1 more round of single crochets if I have enough yarn, and I will meet you after that round of single crochets because this is the same repeat as we did for the last couple of rows. So single crochet to the stitch marker, 2 single crochets in the stitch marker stitch all the way around, followed by a round of single crochet. So I'll see you at the end of that single crochet round. I am going to win at Yarn Chicken, but we do have to do another round still, so I'm going to switch back to the variegated yarn for my final 2 rounds. Our next round, it's just going to be a single crochet round, but I'm going to do it in the new color, and then our final round is going to be a slip stitch round. So I'm actually done doing increases at this point. There we go. Now I'm going to join the round with the new color, do another round of single crochets, and I will meet you when I finish this next round of single crochets to show you how I'm going to switch into the slip stitches, and then we will do our slip stitch round, and then it's almost finished. So I will see you at the end of this next single crochet round. This is looking so cute. I love the colors we chose. All right, so I'm just finishing up this single crochet round now. A couple more stitches here, and then I'm gonna join my round at that first chain 1 that we started the round with. I'll join with a slip stitch, and now I'm not going to chain 1 here. I'm just gonna slip stitch into the next stitch, and then into the next stitch, and then the next one, and I'm gonna slip stitch all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning of the round to show you what we're gonna do next. All right, I'm finished my slip stitch round. I'm gonna put one last slip stitch in to kind of secure that round together. Then I'm gonna chop my yarn here, and now I'm gonna take a few minutes and I'm gonna weave in any of the remaining ends. I've got a couple on the inside here and then this one on the outside. So I'm gonna weave these in, and then it'll be time to look at our final project. Ta-da! It's finished! What do you think? I've got the beautiful slip stitched edge, which creates a little bit of thickness around the brim, which I love. I think the colors came together so well. It feels like berries and flowers and just a really good, perfect bucket hat for spring and summer. The lining is so cool. I think adding a little lining just elevated it to an even cooler level. You can't see it when you wear it, obviously, but if you turn it inside out, the entire inside is seamed closed, is lined. It's just beautiful and finished. I feel like it adds a little elevated sort of vibe to this hat. But what do you think? Isn't it cool how you can make such a cool hat out of just 6 granny squares and like 2 days of my life? But you'll probably get it done a lot faster. I was filming and also taking lots of breaks. But what do you think? Here is what the hat looks like on. I actually love it. I think it's going to be my go-to for this summer. Usually I end up wearing 1 or 2 hats all summer long, and I think this summer it's going to be this granny square bucket hat. It's got a brim that's just a little bit longer than a traditional bucket hat, making it sort of bridge between a sun hat and a bucket hat, and I am totally obsessed. I love how the granny square flowers came out. I think that blue background really, it just created such a great color mix. I think these look awesome together. So let me know what you think in the comments down below, and if you're gonna try and make a granny square bucket hat also. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Check out the links in the description box down below, along with all the ways to support the channel. You can also find all related tutorials that will help you to complete this project if you're brand new to crochet. Also, check the top corner now. I will link all of the videos that will help you there as well. Anyway, friends, that is all I've got for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope you enjoyed watching me figure out how to make my new favorite hat. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye!